This is Rising Phoenix Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Rhodes. This podcast is for men struggling with an unwanted divorce. I interview experts on divorce, mental health, and I provide insights gained from my own divorce journey. You are not alone. Join me. Hello, and welcome to the show. This is episode 175. This is obviously another solo one. I'm going to cover a few topics. I think I'm going to focus on reframing. But first, as I do in solo ones, let's cover these new listeners. Dagsboro, Delaware. You listened to 174, which was the latest one, being single beats bad relationships. Um, as a guy who is either involuntary or voluntarily, it's kind of a fine line. Single, that was that one was good for me to hear. Um, the next place, Maumee, 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 Ohio. Why am I doing this? Episode 172. Next one is South Lake Tahoe in California, episode 174. And Vernon, British Columbia, also episode 174. Before I dive into any other things like where the fuck I've been and all that kind of stuff, let me also read a fan mail. Way back on January 22nd, I got some fan mail from San Antonio, Texas, and it says, "Fucking love the podcast, dude. Going through a divorce now. She wanted it. I didn't. Separated 3 months ago. Anyway, podcasts like yours are invaluable. Thank you so much for putting it together." Man, I've been getting, first of all, Mr. San Antonio, thank you for saying that. I've been getting a lot of comments and messages from folks lately, and it's been very nice to hear. I greatly appreciate it. Um, it's one of those things that I wish you didn't need the podcast, but I'm sure as fuck glad that it's here for you and for me. So I think this has been I think this is the first solo one in a little bit. Um, but I don't remember. I've I either have a really fucking bad memory, which doesn't bode well for old age, or I'm really fucking busy and I have so much shit going on I just forget what the fuck I'm doing half the time. But I think it's I think it's been a little while. Um, Part of the reason I actually did record one. I recorded one that I was going to release 2 weeks ago, but I took a work trip. I took my laptop with me. I started editing it, and I was like, "This is not very fucking good," and so I decided not to put it out. And that happens. It happened a couple of times where I've recorded something and just thought this is not worth putting out. So I scrapped it. Um, Hopefully this one will be will be worthwhile. Hopefully tomorrow morning or tonight, depending on when the fuck I get around to editing it, um, I will feel good about it. So we'll see. I guess if you hear this, then I feel okay about it. I wanted to cover a couple small things. The Discord server, I wanted to shout out to Steve and Matt. Those guys are always in there. If they're not encouraging one another, they're encouraging other people. They're sharing their pain and their stories. It's just awesome to see. There's been so many new signups lately. It's been really, really fantastic. Thank you to all of you that have joined recently. I will say to you, and I said this to shout out to Corey V. He joined recently. I said it to him in a meeting. The Discord server or anything, any type of support group is like the gym, right? If you don't go, then it's going to do you no good. I mean, I'll obviously take and need the donations, but I really want people to join and dive in to get the help and support that they need. And I've been thinking a lot about sort of what can they get out of it, or what am I trying to give to people in the Discord server, and I started a channel to have this discussion. And Ian, shout out to Ian, he's always in the Discord server, always commenting, and Joe as well. So many good guys in there. Chris will pop in, Chris S. I mean, there's just so many good people. Um, But I asked the question like, what are we trying to achieve here? And he kind of summed it up. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I'll paraphrase. But we're just looking to be better, emotionally, handle our emotions better, handle conflict better, and just to be better men. Yeah, I want to try and solidify that a little bit more and make it more clear. What am I trying to achieve? I mean, part of it is just giving people a safe place to vent and talk and share with folks that are going through the same thing. I think that's incredibly important. To not feel alone in the world is powerful. And you can see guys that have been there for quite a while, obviously myself, who are doing pretty good. And that's also a positive thing. It gives hope. So, but I think I'm going to solidify it a little bit more what it means, what we're trying to achieve in that Discord server. As specific as I can be, but it certainly revolves around being a better man, learning how to manage our emotions. So I'm going to do a little bit more work around solidifying that in the next few, I don't know, weeks. In other news, I just hired a social media manager, which sounds fucking weird to say, but I'm very I just hired him literally. I sent the contract to him on Saturday. Shout out to Albert. Albert helped me sort of give me some ideas about the contracts, how to set milestones and stuff. I'm using Upwork. I've had a couple meetings with the guy already, and it's been good. I think we're going to work well together. I certainly hope so. So you'll probably start seeing a little bit more of me. I just don't know exactly what that means yet. We're trying to figure out a strategy around that. But as I said to him, I'm not doing anything fake or phony. I'm not changing who I am. I'm not trying to fit in some other niche or whatever. I'm I'm going to be me. If there are certain subjects you think I should do episodes on or whatever's trending, I'm open to that, but I'm not going to force shit. So while you will see more of me, I think, and this is one of the things that I have to determine. I think it will, yeah, I just don't know if it will be if I'm going to go back and pull clips from a bunch of old episodes. It's 170 now, five of these motherfuckers. So, or if I'm just going to focus on clips on new episodes. I really don't know. I got to get a strategy around that. And that's one of the things that hiring this person will hopefully help me determine, not just someone who can pull clips and put them out on the various social media platforms, but what to put out and how to put out, and how often, and which clips are worthy. Not every second of every show is worth pulling a clip from. There's a lot of good nuggets in a lot of episodes, but it's going to take a strategy around that and trying to figure out how to do it. So stay tuned for that. It's coming. And also, I'm working on making some changes. Well, I'm not working on it. I've discussed with my website guy some things to do to the website. I'm going to eventually add a directory for all the episodes, so you can find episodes on anxiety. You can go to that anxiety tag in any episode where that is sort of a topic, even if it's not the main topic, if it's brought up and discussed even a little bit, you'd be able to find it that way. And I'm also going to do the same on YouTube. I've already done that. I have an anxiety playlist on the YouTube channel. So if you're dealing with anxiety, there's, I think, 4 or 5 episodes in that playlist. You just go to the Rising Phoenix podcast YouTube channel and you'll see the anxiety playlist. And there's a couple of episodes, like I said, 4 or 5. I don't think it's 6. And I'm going to try and do that with all the main topics: children and working out and depression and stress and all kinds of different shit, all the main topics. So as I said, I feel like I'm just starting. There's just so much to do, so much to be done. I'm also going to resurrect the Amazon affiliate links. I used to have those on the Divorced Men's Network website, which is obviously now defunct. But I'm going to put any books that I personally read are definitely going to go on there. I'm not 100% sure about guests' books if I haven't read them. I don't know. I probably will do that, but I'm a little hesitant because if I didn't read it, I don't know that I don't want to endorse it. But then again, I'm having them on the fucking podcast. So I think if their episode was good enough to put out, then their book is probably worth reading. So Now I'm thinking about it out loud. I'll probably do that as well. It'll be a little bit before that will happen. All the small influx that has happened in the Discord server is bringing some additional funds, so it's allowing me to do some additional things. So the more of you that join, the more shit that can get done, and the more hopefully help I can provide all of you out there. So that leads me to the topic at hand, and this comes from shout out to Zach in the Discord server. This comes from a conversation he and I had, or a back and forth in the Discord server about a struggle he was having, and one of the things that I always, and I won't go into detail because it's his story, but he's dealing with he was dealing with the exchange, and I believe taking his daughter or son, I know which one, but I don't want to say because it's his story, back to his soon to be or ex. I can't remember. Sorry, Zach. I don't know 100% of the details, but he had a lot of anxiety about that exchange. Like he really didn't want to see her. And as I do with many folks, I encourage him to get to the real emotion. He's angry right now, or he was angry. It's since happened, and it worked out. But as with many of us, the initial, feeling, and I can remember those exchanges where it was anger, it was annoyance, frustration. It was, you didn't want to talk to him. You don't want to, I don't want to look at her. And, for the first, I don't know how many, I think couple years, we wouldn't have exchanges at, or wherever we lived. We would meet at a neutral place because I was such a giant fucking baby that I was like, and no offense to you out there if this is how your mindset is right now, but upon reflection, I didn't want her to come to my house. I was like, nah, you can't come here, which is, again, if that's where you're at, okay, that's fine. Just know that if you work, you're not going to stay there. Now she comes here, she comes in the fucking door, I mean, and vice versa. I go to her place, I'll go inside, sit down on the couch if the girls aren't ready, which is frequent, and she'll come into this house. So if you work, these things evolve. But anyway, my back to the story, I guess. I encouraged him to get to the real feeling, to sit with it, to cry, even to really feel the pain. He said that I'm going to do that, but I'm only going to do it for about 30 minutes. And there's something very awesome about that because that's exactly what you have to do. And that's sort of the point of this episode so it's about reframing, right? So you sit with it, you feel that pain, you dive into it, you get to the real feeling, but you can't do that forever. You'll be a fucking zombie or mess. It's not a healthy way to live, but you have to do that part of it. But once you do that, you step back and you reframe and you look at it like, okay. And there's many different ways you can reframe this. I used to keep, or I still have actually, a list of all my ex's negative qualities, and I would look at that thing whenever um, I had these moments of longing or whatever, or sadness, and I miss her, and then I look at it and I reframe it and go, yeah, but that's who she was. This is who she is now, and all these negative things. I mean, some of the negatives were from the past that were overlooked, but a lot of it came, post separation. And so I reframed how I was looking at the situation. Was I sad and hurt because, let's say, for example, I went to pick up the kid or drop off the kids and there was another dude there. And that would really fucking hurt, right? You sit with that and then you reframe it and go, yeah, but here's the positives. Shout out to Jared, who's another Discord member who helps lead meetings. He talks about finding a silver lining. You can always find a silver lining. These are the things that you have to do. You have to train yourself. I love that Zach was like, yep, you're right, Michael. I mean, and I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to sit with this but for only for about 30 minutes. And then I'm going to work on moving forward. I can't remember exactly what his words were, but it was like he was saying the things I say. I was like, yes, exactly. Because you can't sit with it all the time. It's not sustainable. I mean, you'll wind up in a fucking mental institution. I don't think those exist anymore, but if they did, I mean, you'd wind up in a hospital. You wind up in a really, really bad place. So yes, you have to embrace the pain. You have to sit with these negative fucking feelings that nobody wants to sit with and feel them. But then you have to step back and reframe and get yourself a positive outlook to see things from a different light, from not that light of the brain that wants to keep you with this person because they're your tribe, right? Back to whatever fucking episode that was, where your brain's like, this is if we are out of the tribe, we're gonna die. We have to get back with our tribe. And so you can correct your brain by taking these reframes and positive looks at your situation. And again, back to Jared, there are silver linings in almost every situation. Sometimes they're really, really fucking hard to find. But if you get in the habit of that, then anything negative that you experience, you can step back, reframe, and find the positive and be able to move on and go throughout your day, not feeling like a zombie or a piece of shit or worthless or whatever. And this isn't easy, obviously. This is hard stuff. This is absolutely part of the work. Feeling it, embracing it, and then stepping back and reframing it and finding the positive, finding the silver lining. Because that's a skill that will lend itself to you throughout your life. Anything that goes wrong, when you learn this process, sit with it, feel it, it loses its power over you. And then you step back and you reframe it and make it positive. It loses all of its power. Now, this doesn't mean you do it once and you never have to do it again. And I mean on a specific subject. You may have to revisit this reframing often. This is why I keep the list of negatives. It's been a very long time since I've had to look at that list, but I still do on occasion. And to be honest, with as I try to do in this podcast, with a lot of the interactions I've had with her, there definitely were feelings that came back. And when I sort of approached her and was like, have you ever missed me? And she said, no, essentially. I had those feelings like, oh, that was a little bit of a rejection. I had to sit with that. I had to ask like, what am I missing her? What am I missing? Am I missing sex? Am I missing? And the truth is, I mean, I miss a lot of things, but I really miss the sex more than anything. Um, and I've had my fair share of fun since she's gone, but there's been nobody as much fun as her. And so I had to get to that and like, what am I really missing? What am I feeling? And there's something powerful about okay, recognizing where you're at, what's really going on, and not just caving into the emotion and the feeling. Okay, I'm hurt. I'm a little hurt. She rejected me, but why do I even want to like what am I missing? What's happening? What am I feeling? And I sit with that and I go, okay, shit. So it's the sex. All right, well, I'll just jack off. I'll take care of that fucking problem. Like I don't know about you, but as soon as I jack off and I'm like, nah, I don't miss her so much. And if you don't believe me, try it. I don't know. I mean, I don't. You don't have to tell me about it, but it works for me. And then I go, oh, okay, so that's what it was. Okay, so I don't need to change because there was thoughts with like, well, maybe I need to not be around her so much. Maybe I need a break. Maybe I need because it was. I mean, it is. It's constant almost. So anyway, I'm just really glad that I was able to get to what I was feeling, to manage the emotions, and to not give my power or my control to anybody else. And I didn't need to avoid her or not talk to her, pull back in order to feel better. I just needed to understand where I was coming from, what I was feeling, and then I could frame it in any way I want. So I encourage you to work on this skill. I encourage you to take those steps to sit with the pain, really, really feel it, the real emotion, the true emotion, the hurt, and then work on stepping back, reframing, and finding the positive and silver linings. If you do that, if you can learn that skill, it will do you well the rest of your fucking life. I promise you that. Before I go, I wanted to mention and apologize for episode 174. That was a clusterfuck. When I edited it, I used the old outro and intro, and then I tried to fix it, and it was just a clusterfuck. I was trying to rush, and so if you heard a fucked up version of 174, It's fixed now, I promise. Sorry about that. I do apologize. Anyway, that's all I got for this one. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. If you are feeling alone on this journey, please join our Discord server. Becoming a Phoenix is not a solitary act. It is one achieved through community. Our Discord server is just that, a community of men fighting to survive, thrive, and rise from their divorce. Go to risingphoenixpodcast.com/Discord for information on how to join and what is contained in our Discord server. Please join us.